Oh, hello there. So, I just wanted to say real quick, we need to have a chat today, as you can probably see in the title. But before we do that, my feet are killing me. I have literally been standing on my feet for 2 months straight. Every time I get done filming one of these, I walk to the next cemetery, and that is a very tiring thing to do. So I want to do something a little bit differently today while we chat. That's much better. I need a minute, guys. Just roll the intro. What? It's hot out here. Red Gatorade's great. Don't start with me. Welcome back to the Least Professional channel on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? So we're going to do something a little bit differently today. First, I want to start out by saying, according to my YouTube statistics, about 60% of people clicked off before the intro even played. So if you're still around, another 10% of you or so are going to click away in the next 10 seconds. So go ahead and do that, and I'll just sit here and wait. Alright, so if you're still around, I'm going to assume that you are here because you either know me personally and feel obligated to watch my videos. Maybe you enjoy them. I don't know. Or you saw the title of the video and either agree with me or disagree with me. And if you agree with me, you probably want to see what I'm talking about here. If you disagree with me, you're probably down in the comments right now just typing out about how wrong I am and how terrible I could be for even having a video like this. Before you finish the comment, though, do me a favor. Could you hit the subscribe button? Just right down here, or over here, one of the two sides. If you could hit the subscribe button, though, because it's free. You don't even have to hit the bell notification if you don't want. Just subscribe. That'd be awesome. A cicada just landed on the headstone right in front of me. Anyway, going off track here. So you probably saw the title of the video and saw, wait a minute, what do you mean ghosts aren't real? Do you have proof of this? No, I don't. But what I wanted to talk about today was a little bit about some of the methods and of ghost hunting. And of course, the reason why I'm talking about this when I normally talk about photography is because we are getting ready to start my favorite time of the year. And that is the fall. September, October, even into November. I absolutely love this time of year. The plethora of greatness that comes with this. First and foremost, obviously, football, college football. By far, one of my favorite parts about the fall. Hold on just a second. There we go. That's better. So college football, one of my favorite aspects of the fall. But I also love going into the October season, and you got the corn mazes and the haunted houses and all of that cool stuff. Trick or treat. It's all awesome. I love everything about the fall. The leaves changing color, which we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So in the fall, everybody loves to talk about ghosts, and they love to do scary videos and that kind of stuff. Whether it's YouTube or television, which most people don't have television anymore, I don't think. But if you do still have television, you're probably familiar with shows like The Ghost Hunters. They ramp it up every year, especially as we get into October, because Halloween and it's a spooky time and everybody wants to be scared, and that's all fine, great, and wonderful. So where does my problem come in? Well, my problem comes in when we have these shows like Ghost Hunters that are exaggerating and playing everything up and making it such a big thing. You know, ghosts are real, oh my God. The thing is they don't actually have evidence that ghosts are real on those shows. But so many people believe that they have evidence that ghosts are real because they see the stuff The way that these shows edit things and the way that they make it look, even if they're not, sometimes they're doing it on purpose. Sometimes they are going out there and they're faking evidence, which has been shown in some shows that they are faking their evidence completely. But sometimes they're just misinterpreting things, or they're seeing something's happening, and they're attributing it to ghosts, even when they have no proof that it's ghosts whatsoever. Some of my favorite channels on YouTube actually go around this ghost stuff. I love channels like TFIL, Sam and Colby. I've been watching them for years and years and years. The problem with them, and if you watch those channels, I'm not going after these guys personally. I absolutely love everybody in the TFIL group. I love Sam and Colby. They're awesome personalities, and I would love to hang out with them for a night. Don't clip that. On one of their overnight things, their ghost hunts. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's not going after their personalities. It's going after the methods and the way these things are talked about when it comes to the actual ghost hunting side of things. So here's my thing. Okay, we don't have, every time I've asked somebody who believes in ghosts, and I used to be one of those people. I used to believe in ghosts, and I would go out ghost hunting and do all that kind of stuff, and it was fun and it was creepy. But that's changed over the years for me. I don't believe in ghosts anymore. And a big reason for that is there's no evidence that I have seen that has anything to do with ghosts whatsoever. And when I ask somebody who still believes in ghosts, why do you believe in ghosts? What is a ghost? The responses vary, but sometimes they'll say things like demons, or they'll say things like, oh, well, it's the soul of a person who died that's stuck on this earth, or for whatever reason. And then my follow-up question, of course, is, okay, well, what's a soul, or what is a demon? Where do they come from? And they don't have a satisfactory answer for me. Now, a lot of these shows, the Ghost Hunter shows, TFIL, Sam and Colby, the Overnight Channel, that kind of stuff, when they're doing these ghost investigations, they're saying they have this different equipment, right? They've got EMF equipment, they've got these little REM pods, which is a new thing they started to use, the little pod thing that's got an antenna that comes out of it. Some of it's really cool, but the way that they attribute things, they'll ask a question, for instance, and this is, if you're not familiar with ghost hunting, if you've never been ghost hunting before, essentially what it boils down to is you go to a place that's supposedly haunted, you've got equipment, like a EMF detector, which is an electromagnetic field detector, that is supposed to monitor changes in the electricity in the air, essentially. It's a little bit more complicated, but that's the basic gist. And so what they're saying is that ghosts have a different magnetic field or electronic field, and when you're holding up this EMF detector or walking around with it, or even setting it down, the ghosts will supposedly interact with it to answer questions. And the same thing with the REM pod. When the ghosts get too close to the little antenna that's popping up, they'll ask questions, and the ghosts will get close to that to answer the questions yes or no. Now, when you're watching these videos and you get all excited because they ask a question and the thing goes off, 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of footage in there of the thing not going off when they're asking questions, or it just so happens to go off at the same time that they're asking the question. And sometimes it'll be 5 or 6 or 10 seconds after they ask the question, and it'll go off, and they'll be like, oh my god, that's a response to the question. That's, oh my, ghosts are real. That's not proof. That's not evidence. Photography, which obviously I've been big on. I've been learning a lot about photography in the past few months. And photography is another big thing that they use as evidence of the paranormal. And they'll say, oh, I took this picture, and it was a ghost image that came out. The problem is, there's so many little tricks that happen with cameras, intentionally or not, that can cause something to look like a ghostly image. I went to the Mansfield Reformatory a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned this in my last video. There's a video coming out in early September of my trip to the Mansfield Reformatory, but it's not ghost hunting. There's a little bit of stuff I do in there, like to talk about, oh, I see this happen. I know that we're supposed to do this, check with the EMF, that kind of stuff. But it's not really a ghost hunting video. The reason I bring it up is because one of the things that I did while I was there was long exposure photography. I took my camera, my Canon EOS 2000D, I put it up on a tripod, and I set it to an 8-second exposure. And then what I did was I had my wife hold her flashlight on where I was going to be standing at and lift it up towards the ceiling to kind of illuminate everything. With that 8-second exposure, the camera lens stays open to capture more light that comes in. And I would stand up halfway through the exposure cycle, or come over in one picture during the exposure cycle, and I would appear translucent. And that right there is one of the things that happens sometimes if you're doing long exposure photography. And I've seen pictures online that people say, well, I was doing a long exposure because it was dark and I caught this ghostly image. A lot of the times it looks like a ghostly image, but it's not actually a ghostly image. There's something else going on there. There was something in the shot that was out of the shot by the time it finished up. There's a number of different things that could be happening. The other thing is orbs. People say, well, we've got spirit orbs on camera. A lot of times what you'll find is you have either dust that's in the air, bugs flying around that you didn't notice while you were taking the picture, or even on the inside of the camera on the actual sensor, dust can get up in there, and that dust won't show up every single picture, but when it does show up, it looks really weird in the way that it comes out. Even when I was at the Mansfield Reformatory, I took a picture and I had this little red dot in the picture that looked really awkward to me, and I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. I looked at the lens. There's a red piece of fuzz that was on the lens. The light was just capturing just right off of it that it was showing up in the image. So it's things like that. It's all easily debunkable stuff if you understand it. And I'm going to do some more extended videos this fall as part of my Ohio Legends and Tales series, which that's the new series that's coming out, by the way. If you're still here watching, you're the first ones to find out. That's the name of the new series, Ohio Legends and Tales, that's going to be coming out. And in that series, I'm debunking a lot of legends, urban legends, ghost stories from the state of Ohio. And I'm using these methods to debunk these things. And stories, you know, there's a lot of people that will reference stories that other people have told them, things that happened to them at the place wherever it's supposedly haunted. And those are all anecdotal stories. And the problem with those is that, let's say, you know, we'll take it at face value. We'll assume that the person's not lying, they're not exaggerating, they legitimately saw something that they can't explain. First of all, that doesn't make it a ghost. Second of all, the human mind is really funny. It plays a lot of tricks. And a lot of that goes back to the caveman days and tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago, when we were a species that we had to worry about. You know, a predator might be in the bush somewhere, and it was better to think that that was a predator and run away than it was to assume that it wasn't a predator and get eaten. So because of that, we have these instincts built in to our brains will assume that something's there. Our brains will assume that there's danger. And there's also pareidolia. When we look at something and you see a face in the clouds, for instance, or a face in a tree, those kind of things, the reason why that happens is because the way that our brains are wired up to see faces, to see patterns, we're very good at pattern recognition. That comes back to bite us, though, when it comes to things like ghost hunting. Boy, have I mentioned how hot it is out here today. It is really muggy. It's currently August when I'm filming this, and it's like the dog days of summer right now. It's 90 degrees, it's humid, there's probably going to be storms rolling in at some point. But I took this week off work specifically to film a little bit more, and especially for the upcoming Ohio Legends and Tales series. I've got the stuff I'm going to be filming this week for that. So stay tuned, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, because that stuff's going to be cool. Okay, so how can I say that ghosts are not real if I don't have any evidence for that? For those of you that are familiar with logical fallacies and with arguments in debate style formats, that kind of thing, when I say ghosts are not real, it sounds like I'm making a positive claim. And that in itself would be a positive claim. You know, me saying ghosts aren't real. The way that I should phrase it is, I don't believe in ghosts. And the reason I don't believe in ghosts is because there's not enough evidence. There's nothing that's been put forth to prove their existence. And if you can't prove their existence, it would be stupid to believe that they were real. Think of all the things that somebody could just claim as real, and if you didn't ask for specific evidence, could really affect you. It could really be a bad thing. So that's why it's good not to believe. You know, the default is to start with not believing in something, and then when you have enough evidence to show that it's real, you believe in it. Would I love to see, you know, would I love ghosts to be real? That would be cool. I mean, it would be awesome to be out in one of these places and be pushed by a ghost or something like that. You know, have some kind of evidence, be able to communicate with people after they died, those kind of things. would be really cool. But unfortunately, there's nothing there to show that. And when I go someplace like the Mansfield Reformatory, where it's the most haunted prison on earth, or at least in the United States, supposedly, and don't find any ghost activity, and I don't feel anything, I'm not even creeped out. That's why when I was talking about the TFIL channel and Sam and Colby and all that earlier, when I watch them, and they all kind of freak out when the littlest thing happens, and all I can think of is, I would be the only person standing in that room not freaking out. Because that stuff doesn't scare me. It doesn't bother me any. To have those kind of things, little noises and stuff like that, because I feel like I can explain all of those. And I'm hoping, as things progress with this channel, and as I kind of grow a little bit, assuming I grow enough to get to the point where I can do more of this stuff on a more regular basis. Right now I try to, but I've got work, and I've got a real job. I have a family to take care of, so I have to focus on them before I can focus on YouTube. But once I get to that point, I would love to be able to visit some of these places. I'm already planning on going back to the Mansfield Reformatory next year and renting the place out. And just staying there for the night. Just me and my wife and anybody else, if I can find a few other people to go along, just a small group. Just because, like, when we were there, anything I heard I could attribute to other people that were there, because there was a couple hundred other people there. So I want to have it to myself, which would be really cool. But that's not the only place I want to go to, because there's also places like the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum down in West Virginia. I would love to go there and spend the night. I know you can rent that place out. There's all these haunted places, supposedly haunted, that I would love to rent them out. Not because I believe in ghosts, but because I'm open to the possibility of being proven wrong. And if I can be proven wrong because I find something that is just irrefutable evidence, I'll change my opinion. I'll change my mind. It's that simple for me. But as of right now, I don't have that evidence. And so I sit here thinking to myself, I'm in a graveyard where all of these people are buried. Most people would be afraid. Most people don't like graveyards. Most people are afraid of going in. A graveyard at night is terrifying to a lot of people. To me, I have never been in a graveyard at night, and I've been in a ton. I've never been in a graveyard at night that creeped me out. And I've never been in a graveyard. I've never had the experience of having any kind of ghost activity or paranormal activity or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for something that's actually going to give me that, so that I can change my mind. And maybe you have evidence. Maybe you have something really strong that you're willing to share. Heck, go down in the comments. Let me know, where's it at. I'll go check it out. Share it on my social media. I've got a Facebook. I've got Twitter. I've got Discord. All of that kind of stuff. So share that stuff with me so I can take a look at it, and maybe it's something that really convinced you and you think that it's really strong evidence. I'd love to see it. And I won't tear it apart. I won't debunk it unless you ask me, what if I think that, if you ask me, what do you think this is? Yeah, I'll look at it and I'll pick it apart but if you just say, hey, look, this is the best stuff that I have. This is what convinced me. I'll take that for what it is. It convinced you. That doesn't mean it's going to convince me, but I'd still love to see it, because maybe it will. You never know. So that's my rant on ghosts. This video is a lot different. Normally, I'm walking around and standing up and all that kind of stuff. I didn't feel like doing that today, and I wanted to do something a little bit differently. So let me know what you think of this format. I don't know that I'm going to change over anything completely. This will probably go in a different playlist in a different section, just because it's not really photography related. And I want to kind of divide things up a little bit. I do want to still focus some on photography, but I kind of want to drift into, I'm really passionate about this kind of stuff. I'm passionate about history. I'm passionate about proving or disproving things, and especially with ghosts, just because there's places that can be really creepy and really fun to visit because they're creepy. And so I want to try to visit some of those places and share that experience with you, because it would be fun. And to me, it's entertaining. If you find it entertaining as well, that's the goal. I want to create stuff that I'm having fun with, that is going to be fun for the viewer as well. So let me know what you think about all of this stuff, everything that I said today. Leave a comment down below telling me, how wrong I am, how much you agree with me, whether or not you believe in ghosts. Let me know. Do you believe in ghosts? Even if you don't have like a video or picture or something like that, tell me why. Like, why do you believe in ghosts? What is it? Something that you just always believed? Was there something that happened that led you to believe? I find all that stuff interesting, so let me know down in the comment section below. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else for this video. Keeping an eye on the weather because it might rain here soon, so I don't want to have all my equipment out if it does that, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, if you stuck around for the whole video, thank you so much, because I've been watching the analytics and stuff like that, and it's kind of hit or miss right now. Trying to get content uploaded on a regular basis, and I'm trying to do stuff that's going to be entertaining, so let me know what you think. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it, and like I said earlier, subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything at all. You don't even have to hit the bell icon if you don't want to. If you don't want to be notified, that's fine. Just subscribe. That'd be cool. That means a lot to me. And I cannot stress enough how much I appreciate everybody that actually takes the time to sit down and watch these videos all the way through and comment and like and even share, because that just means that it means a lot to me to get that out there and to grow my channel, because eventually, I would like to get to a point someday where I can monetize, I can make some money off of this to put back into it, to do the things that I talked about earlier, like visiting the lunatic asylum down in West Virginia, like going back to Mansfield Reformatory, because those things are expensive. Getting the gear and paying for the time in the place, that costs a lot of money, and so in order to do that, I'm going to need to grow things and get things going a little bit. So if you could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Outside of that, I don't think I have anything else for this video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I will see you in the next video.